AITA for telling my sister her perfect fiancé tried to sleep with me at her bachelorette party. I'm Amber, and I need to get this off my chest because my entire family is calling me a jealous liar right now, and I'm starting to question my own sanity. So my older sister Nicole has always been the golden child. I'm not saying that to be bitter, it's just a fact. She's a pediatric surgeon, she volunteers at animal shelters, she looks like she stepped out of a magazine, and up until 3 days ago, everyone thought she was about to marry the man of her dreams. His name is Derek, and honestly, I thought he was pretty great too. He's a corporate lawyer, he's charming, he says all the right things, and he treated Nicole like a queen. At least that's what I thought. The bachelorette party was 2 weeks ago in Miami. Nicole wanted something classy, so we rented this gorgeous beach house for the weekend. There were 12 of us total. Me, Nicole, our cousin Jessica, and a bunch of Nicole's friends from medical school and her tennis club. The first night was perfect. We had dinner at this amazing seafood place, danced at a club, came back to the house, and played stupid games until like 3 in the morning. The second night is where everything went wrong. We'd been drinking by the pool all day. Nothing crazy, just wine and those frozen drinks with the little umbrellas. By 11, most of the girls had gone to bed. Jessica passed out on the couch in the living room. Nicole went upstairs around midnight, completely exhausted and definitely tipsy. She hugged me goodnight and told me she loved me and that she was so happy I was there. I should have gone to bed too, but I wasn't tired yet, so I stayed outside by the pool, just floating in the water and looking at the stars. The house was quiet. Everyone was asleep. Then Derek showed up. I heard the back gate open, and there he was, walking across the patio in jeans and a t-shirt. I was confused because the guys were supposed to be in Vegas for the bachelor party. They weren't supposed to be back until Sunday. Derek, what are you doing here? I climbed out of the pool and grabbed my towel. He smiled at me. Surprise visit. I missed Nicole. Is she still up? She just went to bed like 20 minutes ago. She's pretty drunk, honestly. You should probably let her sleep. That's okay. He sat down on one of the lounge chairs. I'll wait down here for a bit. Don't want to wake her. This is where I should have just said goodnight and gone inside. But I didn't want to be rude. He was about to be my brother-in-law. So I sat down on the chair next to him, still wrapped in my towel. We talked for maybe 10 minutes. Normal stuff. How was Vegas? How was Miami? Wedding planning stress? He asked me about my job. I'm a graphic designer, nothing as impressive as what Nicole does, but I like it. He seemed interested. He was being nice. Then he moved to my chair. Not like aggressively. He just sort of slid over, said the other chair was wet from where I'd splashed getting out of the pool. He sat next to me really close, his leg touching mine. You know, Amber, he said, and his voice was different, lower. You look really beautiful tonight. I laughed nervously. Thanks. I'm literally in a bathing suit with cool hair. I mean it. He put his hand on my knee. You've always been beautiful. Nicole's lucky to have such a gorgeous sister. My stomach dropped. I moved my leg away. Derek, what are you doing? Nothing. Just being honest. But his hand moved to my thigh. I stood up immediately. You need to stop. Nicole is upstairs. Nicole is passed out. He stood too, stepping closer to me. Come on, Amber. I've seen the way you look at me. I don't look at you anyway. You're marrying my sister, so? That doesn't mean we can't have fun. He reached for my waist. I pushed his hand away hard. Are you insane? I'm going inside. You need to leave. His whole expression changed. The friendly, charming Derek disappeared. His face got cold. You're making a big deal out of nothing. I was just being friendly. You put your hand on my thigh and said we should have fun. That's not friendly. That's not what happened. He said it so calmly, so matter of fact. I came here to surprise Nicole, and you came on to me. If you tell anyone otherwise, I'll tell them the truth. That you've been jealous of Nicole your whole life and you tried to seduce me. I felt like I'd been slapped. Nobody would believe that. He smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Are you sure? You really want to test that? Your sister worships me, Amber. Your parents think I'm perfect for her. Who do you think they'll believe? The successful lawyer who's always been nothing but nice to everyone? Or the little sister who's always been in Nicole's shadow? Then he walked past me, through the house, and out the front door. I heard his car start and drive away. I stood there shaking for probably 20 minutes. I went inside, locked all the doors, checked on Jessica, who was still snoring on the couch, and went up to my room. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, Nicole was so happy. She came bounding into my room at 9 with coffee and croissants from this bakery down the street. Derek texted me. He said he tried to surprise me last night, but everyone was asleep, so he just drove back to Orlando. Isn't that romantic? He drove 3 hours just to try to see me. I felt sick. Nicole, we need to talk. What's wrong? Are you okay? I told her everything. Every word, every detail. Her face changed as I talked. She went from concerned to confused to angry. That's not possible, she said when I finished. Nicole, I'm telling you the truth. He hit on me. He put his hands on me. Derek would never do that. He loves me. I know this is hard to hear, but no. She stood up. No, Amber, Derek is not like that. I know him. We've been together for 4 years. People can hide things. Not Derek. And honestly, this sounds really convenient. You tell me this huge accusation the morning after with no witnesses, no proof, nothing. Just your word. Why would I lie about this? She looked at me for a long time. I don't know. Maybe you're drunk. Maybe you misunderstood something. Maybe, she paused. Maybe you've always been a little jealous that I found someone amazing. That hurt more than anything Derek had said. You can't actually believe that. I don't know what to believe, but I know Derek and I know he wouldn't do this. She walked to the door. I'm going to call him. She left. I heard her on the phone in her room, her voice rising and falling. 30 minutes later, she came back. Derek told me what really happened. My heart started pounding. What did he say? He said you came on to him, that you were drunk and you tried to kiss him, and he pushed you away and left. He said he didn't want to tell me because he didn't want to hurt me, but now he has to defend himself. That's a complete lie. Is it? Because you've been drinking a lot this weekend, and you were alone with him by the pool. So that automatically makes me a liar? It makes it your word against his. And I believe him. Her eyes filled with tears. I can't believe you would do this, Amber. Right before my wedding. Do you hate me that much? I don't hate you at all. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From the man I love? From my happiness? She shook her head. I want you to leave. Today. I'll tell everyone you got food poisoning or something. I don't want you causing drama at my wedding. Nicole, please, get out, Amber. So I left. I packed my stuff, drove to the airport, and flew home. I cried the entire flight. Jessica called me that afternoon. Nicole had told her I got sick and had to leave early. I told Jessica the truth. She believed me, thank God. She knows Derek gives her weird vibes too. But she said I needed to tell our parents before Nicole did. So I called them. Told them the whole story. My dad was quiet for a long time. Then he said, honey, are you sure you didn't misread the situation? Derek has always been respectful. I didn't misread anything, Dad. He came on to me. My mom was more direct. Amber, this is a very serious serious accusation. If you're wrong about this, you could ruin Nicole's life, and if I'm right, then we'll deal with it. But right now, it's your word against Derek's, and Nicole believes him. Maybe you should just let this go. Let it go? Mom, he assaulted me. He touched your knee, honey. I'm not saying that's okay, but calling it assault might be, he put his hands on me after I said no. What would you call it? She sighed. I'm just saying maybe there was a misunderstanding. Derek is a good man. He's successful. He treats Nicole well. He's been nothing but kind to this family. So I'm lying? I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe your perception of what happened isn't accurate. You said you'd been drinking. I hung up on her. I know that's immature, but I couldn't listen anymore. The next 2 weeks were hell. Nicole wouldn't talk to me. My parents called a few times to smooth things over, which basically meant trying to convince me to apologize to Nicole and Derek for the misunderstanding. I refused. Jessica was the only one on my side, but even she said maybe I should just drop it for now and deal with it after the wedding. But I couldn't, because if Derek did this to me, what else was he capable of? What if he did it to someone else? What if he was lying about other things? So I did something probably crazy. I hired a private investigator. I know how that sounds, but I had some money saved up, and I needed to know if I was wrong or if everyone else was. The investigator's name was Rita, and she was this no-nonsense woman in her 50s who specialized in infidelity and background checks. What exactly do you want me to find? She asked when I met her in her office. I don't know. Anything that proves he's not who he says he is. That's pretty vague. He's a corporate lawyer. He's from Ohio originally. He told Nicole he was engaged once before, but it ended amicably. He goes to the gym 5 days a week. He plays golf. He's perfect. Too perfect. There has to be something. Rita nodded. Give me 2 weeks. She called me in 10 days. You need to come to my office. Now. I drove there immediately. Rita had folders spread across her desk. Amber, Derek Morrison is not who he says he is. My hands started shaking. What do you mean? His real name is Derek Williamson. He legally changed it 6 years ago. He was engaged before, yes, but it didn't end amicably. The woman, Rachel, filed a restraining order against him for stalking and harassment. It was dropped when he agreed to move out of state and cease all contact. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Nicole doesn't know any of this. There's more. Rita opened another folder. He's been married before. Not engaged. Married to a woman named Melissa in Columbus. They divorced 3 years ago. The divorce records are sealed, but I have a contact who managed to get some information. Melissa cited mental and emotional abuse. There were also allegations of infidelity, but nothing proven. He told Nicole he's never been married. I know. I also found something else. He's currently being sued by a former colleague at his law firm, a woman named Amanda. Sexual harassment. The case is ongoing, but the allegations include unwanted touching, inappropriate comments, and creating a hostile work environment. The room was spinning. Can I get copies of all this? Already made them for you. Rita pushed the folders toward me. Amber, be careful with this. Derek Morrison/Williamson is not a good man, and men like him don't like being exposed. I took the folders and left. I sat in my car for an hour trying to figure out what to do. The wedding was in 4 days. Nicole wouldn't talk to me. My parents wouldn't listen, but I had proof now. Real documented proof that Derek was a liar. I decided to go to Nicole's house. She lived with Derek in this beautiful townhouse downtown. I texted her that I was coming over, that I had something important to show her. She didn't respond, but I went anyway. Derek answered the door. Amber. What? A surprise. His voice was cold. I need to talk to Nicole. She doesn't want to talk to you. I have something she needs to see. Whatever you have, you can give it to me. I'll make sure she gets it. No, I need to give it to her myself. He stepped outside and closed the door behind him. We were standing on the front porch. You need to stop this. Whatever game you're playing, it's over. Nicole has made her choice. She's marrying me in 4 days, and you're not invited. She needs to know who you really are. He laughed. And who is that? Please enlighten me. Derek Williamson. Restraining order from Rachel. Divorce from Melissa. Lawsuit from Amanda. Should I go on? His face went completely white, then red. You've been digging into my past? You tried to assault me and then called me a liar. What did you think I was going to do? You have no idea what you're messing with. He stepped closer to me. Those records are sealed. If you share them with anyone, I'll sue you for everything you have. They're not all sealed. And even if they were, Nicole deserves to know the truth. The truth? You want to talk about truth? He was really angry now. Fine. Yes, I changed my name. Yes, I had a bad breakup with Rachel. She was unstable, clingy, and when I tried to end things, she made up lies about me. The restraining order was her way of getting revenge. Yes, I was married to Melissa. It was a mistake. We got married too young and we grew apart. She was bitter about the divorce, so she said terrible things about me that weren't true. And Amanda? She's trying to extort money from the firm because she got passed over for a promotion. Every single one of those women lied about me. Or maybe you're the liar. You know what your problem is, Amber? You're jealous. You've always been jealous of Nicole. She's prettier, smarter, more successful. And now she's marrying someone who actually wants her and you can't stand it. So you're trying to ruin her happiness? I'm trying to save her from making the biggest mistake of her life. She's going to marry me. Nothing you say or do will change that because she loves me and she knows I love her. And you're just the bitter little sister who'll be alone forever. The front door opened. Nicole was standing there in yoga pants and a t-shirt, her hair in a messy bun. What's going on? I held out the folders. Nicole, please, just look at these. Derek told me to call the police if you showed up here. I have proof. About Derek. About his past. Things he never told you. Derek put his arm around Nicole. She hired a private investigator, babe. She's been stalking me, digging through my personal life, trying to find anything to make me look bad. Is that true? Nicole looked at me with disgust. Yes, I hired someone because I knew something was wrong. Nicole, his real name is Derek Williamson. He's been married before. He has a restraining order against him. There's a woman suing him right now for sexual harassment. Nicole took the folders from my hand. She opened the first one. I watched her face as she read. Derek was watching too, his jaw clenched. She flipped through page after page. The restraining order, the divorce records, the lawsuit documents, everything. Finally, she looked up. At Derek, is this true? Baby, I can explain. Is it true? Yes or no? He hesitated. It's more complicated than, did you change your name? Yes. Were you married before? Yes. Did Rachel file a restraining order? Yes, but why didn't you tell me any of this? Her voice was shaking. Because I knew you'd react like this. I knew you'd judge me without knowing the full story. Those women, they all lied about me. They were vindictive and crazy and they wanted to destroy me. Nicole looked at me, then back at Derek. All of them? Every single woman in your past is lying? Yes, I know how it sounds, but get out. What? Get out of my house, now. Nicole, baby, please just listen to me. I said get out. She was crying now. I don't know who you are. I don't know if I ever did, but I know I can't marry someone who's been lying to me for 4 years. So get out. out now. Derek looked at me with pure hatred. This is your fault. You did this. No, Nicole said. You did this by lying, by hiding who you really are, by trying to make me think my own sister was crazy. She turned to me. Amber, I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. I should have. She broke down crying. I hugged her while Derek grabbed his keys and wallet from inside. He slammed the door on his way out. We sat on the couch for hours. Nicole went through every document, reading everything. She called Rachel using the phone number Rita had included. Rachel answered and told Nicole everything. How Derek had seemed perfect at first. How he slowly became controlling and possessive. How when she tried to break up with him, he'd shown up at her work, her apartment, her parents' house. How he'd sent her hundreds of texts and emails, alternating between begging her to come back and calling her horrible names. How she'd finally filed a restraining order because she was genuinely scared of him. Nicole called Melissa next. Melissa was hesitant to talk at first, but when Nicole explained she was Derek's fiancé, she opened up. She told Nicole about the emotional abuse. How Derek would be charming and perfect in public, then cold and cruel in private. How he'd isolate her from her friends and family. How he'd accused her of cheating constantly, even though he was the one having affairs. How she'd finally divorced him and moved across the country to get away from him. By the time Nicole hung up, she was pale and shaking. He's a monster. And I almost married him. But you didn't. That's what matters. She called off the wedding that night, sent a message to everyone on the guest list saying the wedding was canceled due to personal reasons. Her friends started calling immediately, but she didn't answer. She just sat there, staring at nothing. I feel so stupid, she finally said. How did I not see it? He's good at hiding it. That's what abusers do. She looked at me. Did he really hit on you at the bachelorette party? Yes. And I called you a liar. I chose him over you? Fresh tears started falling. I'm the worst sister in the world. You're not. You were in love with him. He manipulated you. I should have believed you. You're my sister. My baby sister. And I basically told you that you were jealous and bitter and she couldn't finish. We stayed up all night talking. She told me about little things she'd noticed over the years with Derek but had dismissed. How he'd make comments about her weight or her clothes, always phrased as concern or jokes. How he'd get upset if she spent too much time with her friends. How he'd check her phone sometimes, saying he was just curious. How he'd make her feel guilty for working late at the hospital. It was so subtle, she said. I didn't even realize it was happening. The next morning, Derek started calling and texting. Nicole blocked his number. He started emailing. She blocked his email. He showed up at the house that afternoon, banging on the door and yelling for her to let him in. She called the police. They came and told him to leave or he'd be arrested for trespassing. He left, but not before shouting through the door that Nicole was making a huge mistake, that she'd regret this, that no one would ever love her like he did. The police officer who responded was a woman named Officer Chen. She gave Nicole information about restraining orders and domestic violence resources, even though Derek had never physically hurt Nicole. Emotional abuse is still abuse, Officer Chen said, and men who act like this often escalate. Be careful. Nicole filed for a restraining order the next day. Derek fought it, of course, claimed Nicole was unstable and I was manipulating her, but the judge saw the pattern. Rachel's restraining order, Melissa's divorce records, Amanda's lawsuit. The restraining order was granted. The wedding was supposed to be that Saturday. Instead, Nicole and I sat in her living room eating pizza and watching terrible reality TV. Our parents came over that evening. They'd heard about everything. I'm so sorry we didn't believe you, my dad said to me. He was crying. My dad never cries. We should have listened. You thought you knew him, I said. Everyone did. My mom hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. I failed you. I should have protected you and instead I made you feel like you were crazy. I'm okay, Mom. No, you're not. And that's my fault. We all sat together that night. Our family, just us. No Derek, no lies, no secrets. Nicole started therapy the next week. She said she needed to understand how she'd missed so many red flags, how she'd let someone like Derek into her life. The therapist told her it wasn't her fault. That manipulative people are experts at appearing normal, at making their victims doubt themselves. 3 weeks after the canceled wedding, Nicole got a call from Amanda's lawyer, the woman suing Derek for sexual harassment. The lawyer wanted to know if Nicole would be willing to give a statement about Derek's behavior and character. Nicole said yes. It turned out there were 4 other women at Derek's law firm who had complaints about him, but they'd been too scared to come forward. With Nicole's statement and the pattern of behavior documented in his past, the case against him got stronger. Derek ended up settling out of court and resigning from the firm. I also found out through Rita that Derek had been lying about other things too. His college degree was real, but his claim about being top of his class was false. He'd been suspended from his first law firm for ethics violations. He'd been in massive credit card debt that he'd hidden from Nicole. Nicole and I became closer than we'd ever been. She told me she'd always felt pressure to be perfect, to have the perfect life, and Derek had seemed like the perfect final piece. She'd ignored her doubts because admitting he wasn't perfect meant admitting her life wasn't perfect. But perfect is boring, she said one night, and it's not real. Real is messy and complicated, and sometimes your fiancé turns out to be a sociopath, and your little sister saves you from making the worst mistake of your life. 6 months later, Nicole and I took a trip together. Just us. We went to Italy for 2 weeks. We ate pasta and drank wine and laughed until our stomachs hurt. On our last night in Rome, we were sitting at this outdoor cafe and Nicole raised her glass. To you, she said, for being brave when I wasn't, for telling me the truth even when I didn't want to hear it, for being the best sister anyone could ask for. We clinked glasses. And I realized something. I'd spent so much of my life feeling like I was in Nicole's shadow, like I wasn't good enough, smart enough, accomplished enough, but in that moment, none of that mattered. Because I'd saved my sister. I'd stood up for the truth even when everyone doubted me. And that was worth more than any achievement or accolade. Nicole never heard from Derek again after the restraining order. He moved to another state, according to Rita, who I kept in touch with. She said he was already dating someone new, a younger woman, fresh out of college. She hoped the woman would figure out who he really was before it was too late. As for me, I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. Jessica and I started a podcast about recognizing red flags in relationships. We interview survivors of emotional abuse, therapists, legal experts. It's small, but it's growing. And every week we get messages from people saying our podcast helped them leave a bad situation or recognize warning signs they'd been ignoring. Nicole still goes to therapy. She says she's learning to trust herself again, to listen to her instincts. She started dating someone new last month, a teacher named Marcus. He seems nice, but Nicole's taking it slow, really slow. And I support that. She's not in a rush anymore. She's learned that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you doubt your own reality. My parents apologized about 100 100 more times. They feel guilty for not believing me right away. I forgave them. They were fooled by Derek just like Nicole was. That's what manipulators do. They fool everyone. Sometimes I think about that night by the pool. How different everything could have been if I'd just gone to bed. If Derek hadn't shown up, if he'd never shown his true self to me, Nicole would have married him. She'd be trapped in a relationship with someone who wasn't who he claimed to be. Someone who was capable of hurting her in ways she couldn't even imagine yet. But I didn't go to bed. Derek did show up, and I saw exactly who he was. People ask me sometimes if I regret telling Nicole the truth, knowing how much pain it caused her. The answer is no, never. Because short-term pain that comes from truth is better than long-term pain that comes from living a lie. Nicole told me something a few months ago that stuck with me. She said, "You know what the scariest part is? I would have married him. I was so convinced he was perfect that I ignored every instinct telling me something was wrong. And I almost threw away my relationship with you because of him. That's what scares me the most. Not that he was a bad person, but that he made me into someone I didn't recognize. Someone who would choose a man over her own sister. I think about that a lot. About how easy it is to lose yourself in someone else's version of reality. About how love can make you blind to things you'd normally see clearly. But I also think about how resilient people are. How Nicole survived Derek and came out stronger. How our family healed. How the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than a comfortable lie. Last week, Nicole showed me her phone. Derek had tried to reach out to her through a fake Instagram account. The message said he missed her, that he'd changed, that he wanted to explain everything. She showed me the message, then blocked the account. "I'm not interested in his explanations anymore," she said. "I know who he is. And more importantly, I know who I am now. Someone who doesn't need a man to complete her. Someone who listens to her gut. Someone who believes her sister." She deleted the message without responding. And that, more than anything else, told me that Nicole was going to be okay. We both were, because the truth had set us free, even though it had hurt like hell first. And sometimes that's how healing works. Through pain, through honesty, through facing ugly truths, and coming out the other side changed but stronger. I'm not saying I'm glad Derek hit on me that night, but I'm glad I told the truth about it. I'm glad I didn't let him gaslight me into silence. I'm glad I fought for my sister even when she didn't want to be fought for. And in the end, that's what family is. Fighting for each other, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Nicole and I still talk about that night sometimes. She thanks me. I tell her she doesn't need to. She insists. I accept. And we move on. Together. Closer than we've ever been. 3 days ago, Rita called me. She said Derek got arrested. Apparently, he violated a restraining order with his new girlfriend. She'd broken up with him after 4 months together, and he wouldn't accept it. He'd started showing up at her apartment, her work. She'd filed a restraining order. He'd violated it twice. Now he was facing criminal charges. The pattern continues, Rita said. Men like him don't change. They just find new victims. I felt sad for the new girlfriend, whoever she was, but I also felt grateful. Grateful that Nicole wasn't her. Grateful that I'd spoken up when I did. Grateful that sometimes the truth wins. Nicole took the news calmly when I told her. "I hope they throw the book at him," she said. "Maybe jail time will finally make him face what he is. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I don't know. What I do know is that Nicole is free. I'm free. Our family is free. And Derek Morrison or Williamson or whatever his real name is has no power over us anymore." That's the real ending to this story. Not that I exposed a monster or saved my sister from a terrible marriage, but that we got our lives back. That we learned to trust each other again. That we became stronger together. And if that makes me not the asshole for telling my sister her perfect fiancé hit on me at her bachelorette party, then I'll accept that judgment. But honestly, I stopped caring about who's the asshole a long time ago. I only care about the truth. And the truth is, I'd do it all again. Every painful moment, every family fight, every sleepless night. Because my sister deserved to know who she was really marrying. And now she does. And she's free. And that's all that matters.